We are fortunate to be having this session between two beautiful dates. It was 1st of May yesterday.
Yes.
Labor Day. And the most beautiful sentence for humanity was said on that day by Karl Marx. Workers of the world, unite.
Yes.
You have nothing to lose excepting your chains.
Yes.
He said it for the workers, but I say it for entire humankind, entire mankind. Be free. Do not be enslaved. Nobody can enslave you unless you want to be enslaved.
True.
You are born free, live free. Soar to greater heights with each passing day, with each breath that you take. Rise in life, rise in your aspirations, rise in your achievements. Just like Jonathan Livingstone's seagull. No boundaries. And once you have reached there, like in the Olympics they say faster, higher, stronger, same way. When you reach there, come back and help others. Otherwise your achievements are meaningless. Unless you can share it with others and raise somebody who is tottering, who has fallen down, who has fumbled. That is your aim in life. We have a second important day coming up 2 days from now, the 4th of May, Buddha Purnima. It was on this day that the Buddha was born. It was on this day that he left his body, and it is on this day that he achieved enlightenment. Buddha, the greatest seeker in mankind, in humankind, in the universe. And the most courageous seeker. He is the only one who had the courage to say, I am not the body, which many of us say, in Adhyatmik also. I am not the soul. Every other Adhyatmik says, I am a soul. Buddha was the first one who had the courage to say, I am not the soul. So people asked him, what are you? If you are not body, if you are not mind, if you are not soul. And he said, I am awareness.
Yeah.
And a person can say, I am not the soul only when he had achieved the ultimate bliss, the ultimate reality, when he has dissolved with God. Otherwise, when you are saying, I am a soul, there is a separation between you, soul, and the God. But the moment you say, I am not a soul even, you have dissolved in what you are seeking, the ultimate truth, Tattva, Brahmasmi. That is where Buddha helped us reach. He was a man of courage. Just like Karl Marx was a man of courage who said, you have nothing to lose but your chains, when entire humanity was in slavery, burdened, slogging like animals against the rich. Slavery is not only of the body, slavery is also of the mind. Slavery is also of the thought. Slavery is of the approach. Slavery is when you don't live yourself as yourself and sacrifice your individuality. You cease to exist. You don't die when you stop breathing. You die the day you stop being yourself. That is your death day. there were also other men of courage. One such man was a Sufi called Mansur. And this beautiful Sufi man called Mansur went on to say, I am God. In India, in the East, it is a very common utterance and is accepted when you say, I am God. But when a Mohammedan says it, I am God, it is sacrilegious. It just cannot be tolerated. You become anti-God by defying God. How can you be a creator? You are the created. And how are you saying, I am God? And therefore implying, I am the creator. He was a man of courage. The emperor told him, stop saying so, otherwise you will be beheaded. Mansur listened to his heart, because that was the truth which had been revealed to him. He knew that to be truth. So the emperor ordered his slaughtering, his killing. उसकी बोटी बोटी काट दी गई थी. And still he was laughing. So people asked him, you are being slaughtered. Why are you laughing? He said, look, I told you, I am God. I am not Mansur. They are trying to slaughter something which they think is Mansur. I am indestructible. Remember, you can never be destroyed. So in your daily lives also, do not succumb to others who pass on as superiors to you in a hierarchical authority. In the pyramid structure which society has created, let nobody trample you, let nobody ride on your shoulders. You are indestructible. Another such man of courage was a Sufi saint called Sarmat. Sarmat was not very far. He used to be in New Delhi during the times of Aurangzeb. He had thousands and millions of followers coming to him every day, touching his feet, paying obeisance to him, respectfully looking at him, trying to gather the wisdom and the spiritual knowledge which he was sharing with everybody. He used to recite the Kalma. In Mohammedan, there is a Kalma which says, there is no God except Allah. But Sarmat would only recite the first portion of the Kalma, there is no God. He never said the second portion. And yet, he had thousands and millions following him. There is no God. They would listen to him. They would absorb the spiritual benevolence from these words which Sarmat would utter. When Aurangzeb heard this, he had Sarmat called over to his darbar. And he said, Sarmat, you claim to be a Sufi, whereas you are defying God. You are anti-God. I give you 3 days time to correct your statement and recite the full Kalma. Otherwise, I will have you beheaded. Sarmat said, I am only saying that much which I have come to realize. And my realization as of now is there is no God. When I realize the second part, I will utter it. Otherwise, this is the truth for me. Aurangzeb said, if you do not recite the full kalma, I will have you beheaded in 3 days. Sarmat said, why are you waiting for 3 days? You never know, I may not realize it in 3 days also. So you will lose this opportunity of doing what you think is good by 3 days. So behead me now if you wish to. Aurangzeb ordered his soldiers, ordered the executioner to immediately behead Sarmad on the footstep of Jama Masjid. And when Sarmad's head was beheaded and it was rolling down the steps, Sarmad uttered, his head uttered, there is no God save Allah. So Aurangzeb asked the supporters and disciples of Sarmad, if he knew this, why did he not say it earlier? The disciples said, he knew it, but the head was coming in between the truth which he knew and the acceptance and realization. Today the head is gone, and therefore the statement, there is no God save Allah. Aurangzeb regretted this very deeply.
What is different between Allah and God?
Let's come to that. Aurangzeb realized this and regretted it a lot. But then it seems that emperors, rulers, and people who have power of such nature and intelligence, love and compassion never go together.
Specifically compassion.
Never goes together. Intelligence, compassion, love and power never goes together. So these people whom you elect to rule you, think about it very deeply what you are doing. They say they have come to serve you, but actually they have come to rule you. Aurangzeb also said, I am serving you. O people of my kingdom, I have been appointed by God to serve you. And behind the statement was hidden that greed of power, the greed of ruling over minds. By calling themselves servants of you and me, they are actually ruling you. I wish governments which proclaim to be serving you, instead of calling themselves ministers, call themselves servants of that department. The first servant of the department, officially designated. Maybe a change in their attitude will take place. One is not certain. Another man of courage was a Russian. His name was Gurdjieff. Not very long back, in the 1900s. Gurdjieff. He was also an evolved soul. And when he was young, he had lost his father. And when his grandmother was also dying, Gurdjieff asked his grandmother, do you have any advice for me? Tell me. And his grandmother told him, do only one thing in life. Do everything differently. It requires a great courage to do things differently. Gurdjieff said, I will. And the grandmother said, here is an apple. I want you to eat it. Please eat it. Gurudev picked up that apple, and instead of putting it directly in his mouth like all human beings would do, he first closed his eyes, touched the apple to his eyes, touched the apples to his ears to see if any vibrations were coming, played with that apple, smiled at that apple, contemplated on that apple, and after 4.5 minutes started eating it. The grandmother smiled and she said, now I can die peacefully because I know you will do things differently in life. And when Gurdjieff grew up, he set up a different school of thought. It was called the law of otherwise, where everything is done differently. It's called the law of otherwise. If this law would not have been there, if this thought process would not have been there, the law of the otherwise, you and me would still be believing that the earth is the center and the sun is revolving around us. It was men of daring, it was men of courage who went to do things differently, defy the beliefs, defy what was accepted as a normal, reach out, explore and achieve different things. These were men of courage. You find them everywhere. But these 4 stories I hope help you in understanding the background within which we will talk of the subject of the seeker's road to sadhana. Who is a seeker? You are a seeker. This lady is a seeker. He is a seeker. Everybody is a seeker in this universe. But it depends on what you are seeking. When a seeker is seeking knowledge, the path is different. When the seeker is seeking wealth, the path is different. When the seeker is seeking love, the path is different. But when a seeker is seeking from the path of sadhana to achieve siddhi, the path is totally different. And if this path is followed by everybody, it's a very simple path. People will have a healthy, happy, prosperous life full of kindness, full of love, full of compassion, full of understanding. Please remember, there are 3 components. There has to be a seeker, the sadhak. There has to be a sadhana, the path to sadhana, and going beyond what you want to achieve, that is siddhi, liberation. These are the components which make up the seeker's path to sadhana and siddhi. And the one thing which is the way leading to all this is the human body, आपका शरीर. आमतौर पे लोग इसकी बात नहीं करते हैं, but your शरीर, your body is the most important part on your road to sadhana. You have to look after it. And इस शरीर को अगर आप देखें, तो you must understand कि what are the centers which will help you achieve the siddhi. If I were to show you a plant now with beautiful flowers, and if I ask you what is the most important and beautiful part that you see in front of you, 99 people out of 100 will say it is that beautiful flower, its color, its fragrance, its aroma, its positive vibrations that it is giving. be happiness. If that is the answer, you have missed the point. Fool is important. The flower is important. But it is not the most significant part. Same way, in your human body, the flower is your brain, the top part. आपका एक मस्तिष्क का केंद्र है. लोग आजकल इसको ज्यादा श्रेय देते हैं, ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस देते हैं. इनफैक्ट इसी को ही इंपॉर्टेंस देते हैं. If you ask men what is the most important part of your body, many women may point out here, heart. But all of humanity will stop in the head or in the heart. Whereas the most significant part of your body for your sadhak to reach sadhana and ultimate enlightenment is your nabhi. When you are born, this is the place from where you are connected in the womb to your mother. Every man, woman, child, I am using this generic term for language purposes, is born in the womb and connected to her mother through the umbilical cord, the nabhi. 9 months you have stayed there. From almost just a speck of a seed, you have developed to a baby, and then you come out in 9 months. And what is the first thing we do? We snap that cord. It is necessary, it has to be done. It is a biological need, it's a physiological need, it's a human need. And the moment that umbilical cord is cut off from the child, he suddenly feels that he has lost everything. Till that moment, through that cord, through that nabhi, he was being fed, he was growing, he was being nurtured, he was developing. He found his safety. He found his 24 hours of sleep inside, comfort, warmth, security. Everything came out of that cord, and suddenly 9 months later, when the child comes out, the cord is snapped and he loses that safety, security, comfort, growth. He feels worn out. Which is why a child cries when he comes out, because he is absolutely lost. And if he does not cry, the doctors make him cry. Otherwise, with that snapping, he is dead if he does not cry. So they bring him back to life with that crying, with that awareness that yes, we understand you are missing something. But the craving to connect with the mother of the child, which was unfulfilled when he came out, is next met through feeding of milk from the mother, from the heart. So the Nabhi connect shifts to the heart connect, to the breast milk connect, which is why I urge all people, please educate your daughters, your daughter-in-laws, your sisters, your brothers, wives, anybody, your female friends. Please breastfeed your children. And how long? आजकल के पढ़े लिखे दिनों में it is a matter of shame for women to breastfeed their children, and they take them off and put them on other feeds. Which is why the growth of a child remains totally incomplete. जो मातृत्व का प्यार है उससे उन्हें वंचित रख दिया जाता है. And जब आप किसी को उस प्यार से वंचित रखते हो, as in the West, what happens when the child grows up? He or she rebels. And the first rebellion is against the parents, which is why in the West, at 15, 16, 18, you say, hi mom, dad, what use of you, what use of me, and then leave home. And the next step of rebellion is against society. And when you rebel against your parents and your society, what happens? It leads to warfare. It leads to conflict. It leads to ego problems. It leads to not caring for the other because you have not been cared for as a child. You pass it on to the outside world. This is one reason in the what we call tribal societies. The children are so loving. They are breastfed. They respect their parents. There's not a single case of rape, molestation there because the breast is a normal extension of the mother's love. Whereas in towns and cities, children who have been denied breast milk of their mothers, they go about fondling women, teasing women, brushing aside them. It all starts at that point. So the second mistake by society is denying breast milk to your children. Having made a second mistake, it is human nature to keep repeating and adding to their mistakes. Then the shift in focus takes place. Because you have not been able to give them love, you try to make up for what the child has lost by pushing him into the brain zone. Education is important, yes. But the entire pressure of growth of a child's growing up shifts from the heart to the brain. Now this small little brain which is located here, imagine the enormous pressure on it. इस ब्रेन में आपके 6 करोड़ स्नायु हैं. They are all very delicate. And these 6 crores, if you stretch them throughout the world, you can take one full round of the earth with it. It is so big, so thin, so small, so delicate. Imagine the pressure you are putting on it. What happens? The love which was to come from the heart has not come. So the entire pressure is on your brain. Which is why you have more cases of psychiatry today in the educated world than in tribal societies. Statistically, it's been established that 3 out of 4 people in the West, and India is also increasing and going towards that. Earlier it was 4 people out of 10, now it is going to 5 point some people out of 10 are psychiatric cases. They may accept it or they may not accept it. The entire load of your life has come on this delicate brain, and the other centers have remained undeveloped, underdeveloped, unattended. I wish society realizes this. And just like you have schools and colleges to give you degrees, there are institutions and establishments to ingrain in you powers of love. There are institutions and sanstha's to help you activate your Nagi, re-energize your Nagi, which is your center, which is the root. Just like we quoted the flower. The flower in itself is beautiful, but without the roots it's nothing. There is a story from the childhood days of Mumunsha when he was a young boy. His mother was on the sick bed, and she told him, कि माओ, I love my garden with all my heart and soul. You know it. I get up in the morning when the sun comes out. Until the sun goes down, I'm just tending to all the flowers that are so beautifully planted there. I want you to look after these flowers. Mao Zedong said, don't worry mother, I will do it. The mother was in the bed. Every morning before sunrise, Mao used to go. Until late evening he would be there in the large garden outside his house. He would talk to the flowers. He would tend the flowers, clean their leaves. And when he came back, mother would ask him, have you looked after the flowers? He said, yes, I have. 1 month later, when his mother recovered, she said, let's walk into the garden. She walked. And she saw half the flowers had murjhaud, crumbled. Mao said, you told me to look after the flowers. I was looking after the flowers. The mother told him, the life of the flowers is in its roots. Look after the roots and the flowers will bloom. This is what I wish to tell society. Look after your Nabhi and your brain automatically will be on the right path. Your heart will be on the right path. You are not looking after your roots. This is an external show like a flower. So that the flowers bloom with fragrance, with color, with freshness. Make sure you look after your body. Energize, keep it energized. So what has mankind done? It has अपने आप को विकसित करने के लिए नाभि को भूल के they have gone up to the heart and then to the brain development. और heart development भी कैसा? All superficial. Your heart is supposed to be bhavna, bhav. मस्तिष्क is सोच. ये है भावना. भावना में एक ही चीज होती है love. And when I say to X, Y, Z, I love you, or A says to B, I love you, it is a very superficial statement. Behind that love is hiding hatred. Which is why today there are 93 nations at war with each other. Humanity has seen 2 world wars. We call it a period of peace. Mahatma Gandhi said there is nothing known as peace. Mankind is either in war or preparing for war. When you think you are cool, calm, collected, it is not so. Your anger is hidden there. It just needs a spark to erupt. Test it yourself. If you are sitting nicely, quietly now, or traveling in a train, a bus, or airplane or something, so many things suddenly annoy you from nowhere. If you were pure love, if you were cool, calm, nothing should have disturbed you. It was your anger, your hatred, which was waiting for a spark to erupt. And it happens. It happens more than once a day. It happens many times a day. It happened with almost entire humanity, and the reason is only because हमने अपनी नाभि केंद्र की तरफ ध्यान नहीं दिया है. We have not taken care of our roots. Mankind needs to shake up. It needs to wake up. विकास अब मस्तिष्क से हम लोगों को नीचे की तरफ लाना है. The correct process, we had followed the reverse process of growth. I don't call it the process of growth from Nabhi to heart to Mastisk. That was the reverse process. The actual process we have to implement now. And that actual process is Mastisk से heart पे आना है और heart से फिर Nabhi की growth की तरफ आना है. That is why when you recite the word Om, A-U-M, Om, the three components, they are related to the development of your Nadi. The A part is related to your Mastish. O part is related to your heart. And the Mum part is related to your Nadi. Which is what all your sadhaks, all your siddhas wanted you to develop. ऊपर से नीचे आना है, ना कि नीचे से ऊपर जाना है. And to develop this, your body is a very essential part. And the sadhak has to take care of three important things. The first is Samyak Ahar. What do I mean by Samyak Ahar? Right type of food. Your food should be simple. It should be sattvic. You should eat only that much which is required. Otherwise your body will go lazy. You eat not to fill your body, fill your stomach, but to nourish your body. That should be your principle in life. आज की humanity क्या करती है? We just gobble, 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 eat, eat. And humanity, when I mean, I don't mean just today, 2015, it has been doing for centuries. There was an emperor called Nero. He was so fond of eating that he had employed a physician for himself. Nero खाता था, पेट से ज़्यादा भर के, there was a buffet table always laid for him. और हर घंटे में व्यंजन बदल के टेबल पे आते थे. He would eat and the doctor would take him to the bathroom, make him vomit. He would come back, he would eat again. He ate about 12 to 14 times a day. He had a doctor to satiate his greed for food. You and me are doing the same thing. Nero was the emperor. He got the physician to do it every day, every hour from him. You and me do it twice or thrice a month, or once in 2 months. We go for detox exercises. What for? You first toxify yourself, make a mistake, and then you go to correct it. Samyak Ahar, balanced food, is a very important approach for a normal human being and for a sadhak, for a seeker. Not only what you eat is important, how it is prepared is important. It should be prepared with love, with care, with concern. It shows when it comes to the table. पुराने जमाने में किचन में बैठ के आप लोग, हम लोग क्यों खाते थे? वो प्यार से अग्नि भगवान देवता के पास आपके सामने बन के गरम गरम आता था. और जब गरम आता है, it is easy to digest. और सपरिवार पूरा मिलके खाता था. A family that breaks bread together stays together. That is what I mean by Samyak Ahar. It's not only how it is cooked and what you eat. How you eat, किस भावना से आप खाते हो, is very important. और वो भावना क्या होनी चाहिए? It should be out of emotions, as you say, full of gratitude, full of thankfulness. Which is why people pray before they eat, thanking for the enormous things that are provided to you. ये बहुत जरूरी है. आप क्या खाते हो, किस भाव से बना है और किस कृतज्ञता से आप उसको एक्सेप्ट करते हो, ये बहुत जरूरी है. An experiment was carried out on animals. There was a cat. It was given food to eat. 2 days experiment. Everything was being x-rayed. The cat ate very beautifully. It would go in, it would get digested properly. 3rd day of the experiment, food was given and a dog was let loose on the cat. The secretive juices which help in the digesting system in the cat, they stopped acting. उसका खाना पचना बंद हो गया. वो खाना कभी हजम नहीं होगा. So when you eat your food, eat without other thoughts. That's why they say be in the now. जो जब आप करते हो उसमें पूरी तरह से don't carry your worries to the table, your office worries, and impose them on your children, impose them on your wife and other family members. Because the vibrations that your body you let out are going to affect the others who are eating with you at that time. And even if they are not eating with you that time, you leave those vibrations in your house, in the aura. And when your children, your wife, others come in, it affects them adversely. So please eat with gratitude, with peace of mind, with happiness, simple food to nourish your body, not to fill your body with toxins. Samyak ahar bahut zaruri hai. Second important thing, samyak shram, labor. June development has taken place in the name of development, you and me have stopped exercising our bodies towards labor which you enjoy. You go to gyms as a fad. That is not shram. Shram is garden karte ho. Shram is cooking karte ho, kapde dhote ho, अपना टेबल में साफ करते हो, खुद ग्लास का पानी लाते हो. Mankind has forgotten this beautiful aspect of labor. Shram karna. That is why in the Purana ashrams that we had, Gurukuls that we had, in the Zen monasteries, in all the spiritual institution, every seeker who gathered there would be allotted some or the other form of labor. Seva, labor. कोई लकड़ी काट के लाता था, कोई पानी भर के लाता था. Somebody used to till the soil, somebody used to sweep the floor, somebody used to clean the bathrooms and latrines, somebody would take out and clean the dead leaves. Labor, samvik shram is very important. Don't forget it. हम लोग आजकल श्रम से इतना कतराते हैं. And the reason is twofold. One is the rich class who have achieved wealth, who considered it below their dignity to do any type of work. Including sitting in your car, you expect the door to be opened. Your briefcase, which is 1 kilo, you expect somebody to carry it. You want somebody to carry your chhatri, you want somebody to carry your purse. What ridiculous approach to life. You have wealth and you are sacrificing your entire dignity by making somebody else do it. One class of people to be blamed for not doing shram is the rich class. And the second class is your sadhu sannyasis who have stopped doing any shram themselves. आप हम जो मिडिल क्लास वाले हैं, मेहनत करके अपना घर बनाते हैं, अपने खाना पैदा करते हैं, ऑब्लिस बाय करते हैं, कपड़े लेते हैं, दिन की भर की भाग दौड़ करते रहते हैं. The sadhu sannyasis have found the easy way out. कोई श्रम करने की जरूरत नहीं, स्पिरिचुअलिटी में आ जाओ, साधु बन जाओ, कोई ना कोई तुमको घर बना देगा, कोई कुटिया बना देगा, कोई आश्रम बना देगा और तुम्हें श्रम करने की जरूरत नहीं. They have secured their life without labor. When Nietzsche was asked, how should a seeker live? How should a sadhak live? How should a sannyasi live? How should a sadhu live? His answer was, they should live like dangerous sea. अगर पुराने आपके सीकर्स सन्यासी घर छोड़ते थे, अपने पैलेसेस छोड़ते थे, it was not that these palaces, these homes were an urchin on their growth, because they wanted to live a life of danger where they did not know कल का खाना, आज का खाना कहाँ से आएगा, कहाँ सोएंगे, कहाँ रहेंगे, डिजीज का क्या करेंगे, पानी आ गया, बारिश आ गई, एवलांच आ गया, भूकंप आ गया, क्या करेंगे? A life of uncertainty. Similarly, a sadhak also who labor should lead a life of uncertainty, which is what everybody says live in the now, but they don't practice. When you live in the now, you don't think about the future, you don't think about tomorrow, but these sadhu sannyasis have already catered not only for the tomorrow, they have catered for the day after tomorrow also. Not only have they catered for themselves, they have catered for their uncle, auntie, brother, saat pidi. Albert Camus described it very beautifully. He said, Albert Camus is a philosopher and author. He said, Shram, labor, आज इस स्टेज में पहुंच गया है कि I wouldn't be surprised, he says, that in a few years time from now, people will give the responsibility of making love to their servants also. आपने पूजा पाठ के लिए पंडित रख लिया है, आपने घर में नौकर चाकर सब कुछ यज्ञ करने के लिए सब कुछ रख लिया है. A day is not, who knows, it may happen
by proxy.
By proxy, love by proxy. As it is, something like that has happened. It's there in the virtual world today. I know of husbands and wives.
हो गया ना, अभी बच्चे लोग को सर्वेंट के इसमें दे दिया, हस्बैंड वाइफ बाहर जाती है, लव उधर ही.
There you are.
बच्चे के लिए.
There you are. What sort of society are you creating for yourselves, my dear sir, my dear madams? Wake up. Be the change. Don't think about what others are doing. You be the change in your arena. सम्यक आहार, सम्यक श्रम, और तीसरी जरूरी बात है सम्यक निद्रा, sleep. The body requires sleep. Each person's body requires different. Somebody requires 8, somebody requires 6, somebody 7. When you were in your mother's womb, you required 24 hours of sleep. Then you came out. It started decreasing from 21 to 18 to 17 to 16 to lesser and lesser. Today you require 6 to 8 hours of sleep. But if you are aged, don't tell your teenage son to wake up just because you have woken up at 4:30. His body requires that sleep. Let him sleep. Sleep is a good thing. 8 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever your body requires, when you sleep, the remaining hours you have rejuvenated and reactivated your charge to function in the remaining hours. इस स्लीप के भी दो दुश्मन हैं. एक है आपकी सोसाइटी, which has become very calculative. वो कहते हैं अगर तुम 60 साल तक जीते हो and if you sleep for let's say 8 to 9 hours every day, तुमने 20 साल जो है सोने में गंवा दिए. Add another 10 years for खाना पीना, change etc. Add another 10 years for travel doing nothing. So basically out of 60 years you are living only 20 years as per their statistical calculation. So they have planted in your minds, in your dimag, in your soch कि it is criminal to sleep so much. So don't sleep. Wake up more. They are the first lot of criminals. Please sleep adequately. All the sadhaks must sleep adequately so that they can contemplate and work towards their siddhi in a fresh state of mind. If you deny yourself sleep, you are torturing yourself. The Chinese perfected this method 2500 years ago. The Germans used it in World War II. The Russians use it. All armies generally use it. किसी से confession लगाना, I believe the police also is using it. कुछ confession निकालना है, उस आदमी को खड़े रख दो, उसको सोने मत दो. By the third, fourth day, he will break down. He will accept that he has committed murder, whereas he doesn't know the spelling of murder also. इतना असर होता है lack of sleep का आपके मन पे. The second lot of people, criminals against sleep, are these sadhu sannyasis. These sadhus and sannyasis have, most of them, taken a course, a path to life by denying themselves many things. Denying themselves sex, denying themselves pleasures of life, the comforts of life. And ये psychologically मानी हुई बात है, when you deny yourself something, that thing resurfaces in your mind when you sleep. अगर आपने सुबह कुछ सोचा है as an ordinary human being and that remains unfulfilled, Freud has also said that it resurfaces in your dreams, in your sleep. So जब ये साधु सन्यासी सोचते थे, सोते थे, they would suddenly wake up and the thought of a woman, the thought of good food, the thought of comforts would come back to their minds. So how to kill these thoughts? So they started sleeping less and less. And they started propagating very wrongly, very falsely, that sadhana or siddhi ko hasil karne ke liye you must not sleep. This has been planted by them. Your body requires the sleep, give it sleep. Don't get tutored by what others say. Which is why the greatest teacher of them all, the greatest siddha of modern time, Buddha said, when I tell you something, listen to it carefully. But apply it only if it is relevant in the context of your life. Otherwise, throw it in the dustbin. Etch this sentence in your hearts. Whatever society tells you, whatever your great masters of today, whom you consider masters, tell you, whatever these sadhu sannyasis tell you, use your filtering process. See how applicable it is in the context of your life. Only then choose to accept it. Samyaka hath, samyik shram, samyik nidra, and the fourth important component is samyik vichar, balanced thoughts, balanced approach, balanced way. A prince came to Buddha. His name was Shravan. And he said, Tathagat, I want to become your disciple. Please take me in. Ananda, Buddha's assistant, and other senior disciples told Buddha, don't take him in. He is a prince. He is born in comfort, he has lived in comfort. मखमल के सिवा वो चला नहीं है, बैकवर्ड्स के सिवा उसने कुछ खाया नहीं है, हमेशा पंखे चलते रहते थे. He has been on chariots, he has never even set his foot, barefoot on earth. How will he become a disciple? How will he become a bhikkhu? Buddha said, let him come. When other bhikkhus would walk on roads, on paths while moving from one place to the other, this disciple, new disciple Shron, would choose to walk on a thorny pangdandi. When other bhikkhus, other monks would eat one meal a day at 12 o'clock, this bhikkhu would eat only once in 2 days, Shron. If bhikkhus ate this much as their open hands could take, Shron would eat only this much as his cupped hands could take. If bhikkhus would wake up at Brahma Muhurat at 3:30, 4 o'clock, he would wake up at 2 o'clock. If they slept at 11 o'clock, he would sleep at 12 o'clock. He denied himself everything. Buddha had initially said, yes, it is man's nature to go from one extreme to the other. But don't worry. Buddha said, no, don't worry. Let me see what happens. So after 6 months, Buddha went to the monastery where Shron was, called Shron, and he said, सुना है Shron, तुम एक बहुत ही समृद्ध, rich राज के राजकुमार थे, pampered and lived with all the comforts of life. Shron said, तथागत, यही सत्य है. He said, I have also heard कि तुम वीणा बहुत अच्छा बजाते थे. Shron said, ये भी सच है. राज में सभी लोग कहते थे कि मेरे जैसा वीणा बजाने वाला कोई नहीं है. उसमें से मधुर राग निकलता है, मधुर आवाज निकलती है, ऐसा संगीत निकलता है कि इंसान, पक्षी, जानवर, जो भी कुछ है, सब मंत्रमुग्ध हो जाते हैं. The Buddha asked him, जब तुम वीणा बजाते थे, वीणा के तार बजाते थे, what did you do? He said, the first thing I do before playing was I used to tune my veena. बुद्धा ने कहा, कैसे ट्यून करते थे? He said, तथागत, ये तो बहुत एक साधारण सा सवाल है. Everybody knows it. The tar should neither be too tight nor should it be too loose. बुद्धा ने पूछा, ऐसा क्यों? शोन ने कहा, अगर तार लूज होगी तो उसमें ध्वनि नहीं पैदा होगी, संगीत नहीं पैदा होगा, वो मधुरता नहीं होगी. एंड अगर तार टाइट हो, बुद्धा ने पूछा, तो क्या होगा? शोन ने कहा, अगर ज्यादा टाइट होगी, खिंची हुई होगी, तो वो तार टूट जाएगी और उसमें से संगीत नहीं मिलेगा. बुद्धा ने कहा, थैंक यू, ब्लेसेड बी thou, I have got my answer from. Life is to avoid extremes, neither too tight, neither too loose. आपका खाना, आपका श्रम, आपकी निद्रा और आपकी सोच, everything should be balanced, neither too much, neither too less. Not like Jesse Jones, who again claimed to be a spiritual person. He led his entire following to death. He said, the day of doom is coming, let's all commit suicide. That is what I mean by samyak vichar. सोच आपकी ठीक होनी चाहिए. इस आधार के अलावा द सीकर्स आर ऑफ डिफरेंट टाइप्स. एक टाइप होते हैं, बेसिक क्वेश्चन क्या है? हु एम आई, हु इज गॉड, व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ माई लाइफ, व्हाई हैव आई कम हियर, वेयर डू आई गो फ्रॉम हियर. These are the basic questions in every seeker. And इस आंसर को ढूंढने के लिए there are 3 different types of seekers. The first are the curious ones who raise this question only out of curiosity, more academic by nature, like most of us human beings do. Bhagwan kya hai, sitting on a coffee table, in a dinner table, in a pub, in a bar, in a coffee shop. Curiosity only, academic only, not from the heart. Only this is asking. Why? Because only this has been developed. This is not developed, this is not developed. So those seekers will only ask things out of curiosity and then vanish with very hazy answers. The second type of seeker are those who are inquisitive by nature. Now, between curiosity and inquisitiveness, there is a difference of level. Here, the person who is inquisitive is a bit more serious. He is on the halfway path. He doesn't know whether to remain in the world or whether to understand the real meaning of life, but is still interested in both. Swinging sometimes here, sometimes there. And the third type of seeker is the Mumunsha, the real seeker who is looking for liberation. And such a seeker, he dissolves himself completely into Adhyatma. For him, these questions are not questions. He seeks to live that way to achieve the ultimate truth. He goes to the feet of master. Even the Buddha went to various masters. All seekers have gone to masters' questions. Sukrat went everywhere asking ordinary human beings questions. They seek answers. They do not know कहाँ से कब जवाब मिल जाए. क्या पता वो ऊपर वाला किस रूप में आया हुआ है. Which is why बुले शाह said, न जाने किस वेले तुम आ जाए, क्या पता तुम किस वक्त किस रूप में आ जाओ. They all sought answers. And these seekers who are in the third stage undergo the fourfold path. First, when they go to the master, they have to completely devote themselves to listening. There is a language difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is from the ears, listening is from the heart. Total listening where you are non-judgmental. While hearing, तुम सिर्फ सुन रहे हो and already questions are there in your mind because of whatever is pre-fed into you. जो आपका base knowledge है उसके जरिए. So the first thing is listening. After you have listened, the next step for a seeker is to reach a state of contemplation. जब आप उस पे contemplate करते हो, जब उस पे मनन करते हो, the Sanskrit word है, जब आप listen करते हो, it is श्रवण. जब आप contemplate करते हो, the word is manan. Manan, yes, whatever is the pronunciation. तो आप उसको contemplate करो, उस पे विचार करो जैसे बुद्धा ने कहा. और विचार कैसे करो? खुले दिल से, not with a closed mind of preconceived notions. खुले दिल से let the ideas which have been told to you absorb not only the words, absorb the fragrance of the words, the silence between the words, the music that is there in the words. The next stage follows is known as assimilation. निधि ध्यानम. जब जो कुछ कहा गया है, जो कुछ आपको बताया गया है, आप उसको assimilate करते हो, अपने अंदर पूरा जान, every cell, every pore, every breath of yours is filled with those beautiful thoughts which you have absorbed. Assimilation. And the last stage, of course, is that state of enlightenment. And when you reach that state of enlightenment, which is what as a seeker you had started. आप साधना कर रहे थे सिद्धि प्राप्त करने के लिए, और आपने ये सारे रास्ते अपनाए, अपने शरीर के बारे में, अपने सोच के बारे में, अपने आहार के बारे में, सब चीजों के बारे में. You reach the final state of enlightenment. And that state of enlightenment, you realize finally, and then only can you say Tattvam Asi. Then only you can say Aham Brahmasmi. Then only you can say Soham. Uttering these three words as is normally done today by every second chap in the street. I am God.
I am that.
I am that. To utter it is easy. These words are not meant for uttering. This is meant to be realized by living a life of a sadhak and allowing that thing to come into you so that you can glow with bliss and say Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Soham.
Analak.
Analak. Thank you so much.
Thank you.